Hi everyone! So today I have another Thanksgiving recipe for you, and today we're gonna do cornbread stuffing. Now, I'm not actually stuffing this inside of a turkey, so technically it's called dressing. When you put stuffing inside of the bird, it's called stuffing. When you make it in like a baking dish, it's called dressing, but I don't like to call it that. I'm just used to calling it stuffing, so that's what it is. So we're making a cornbread sausage stuffing, and I'm gonna use the Krusty's cornbread mix. I love this stuff, and I've made cornbread on my own plenty of times, but it just doesn't taste as good as this. So hopefully one day I can get it to taste this good. But I'm gonna use the honey cornbread mix, and what I did was I baked it yesterday, and I baked it in an 8x8 dish, and I let it cool completely, and then I cut it into like these medium sized cubes, and it's getting on the counter kind of just drying out for a little bit. If you can bake it the night before, go ahead and do that. And if you're gonna bake it the same day that you're gonna make the stuffing, then try to make the stuffing once the cornbread is completely cooled, because you don't want this to get mushy. The next thing is we're gonna need some sausage. So I have here about a pound of raw Polish sausage, and I get this in New York. I absolutely love this stuff. I get it in a Polish deli, but if you can't find Polish sausage, you can use any sausage as long as it's raw, because you want that fat in here. I would suggest using like an Italian sausage. You can use spicy sausage, any kind of sausage at all. So what I did though, I have here about 4 links, and what I did those is I removed it from the casing. So I have one here in the casing. So what you do is you just take a sharp knife and you score it, and then you just kind of open it up and take out the sausage from the casing, and it'll kind of be like almost like a ground meat. We're also gonna need an egg, some celery, and some yellow onion, and I cut them all pretty small, so cut them as small as you can manage. And I have here some chicken stock, which for me, I'm just using water with chicken bouillon. So we're just gonna go ahead and cook the sausage now. I have a skillet with high sides here, and I'm not gonna add any oil because the sausage is gonna render a lot of fat. So we'll just start with no oil. So I'm gonna get it in there. And just start to break it up like if it was ground meat. Quick tip, you can use a potato masher for this and ground meat. It helps you get it into little lumps really fast. This is what our sausage is looking like so far. It's pretty much cooked, but what you want to do is give it a chance for all of this moisture to evaporate. That way it gets some nice color and it's not so pale. So the moisture has evaporated now, and now you can actually hear it sizzling. So now it's gonna start to get brown. It's been like 5 minutes. So at this point, just keep stirring it and like kind of scraping it off the bottom, because it's gonna get stuck a little bit until it's pretty brown. And you see it almost looks like there's a lot left in here too, because a lot of it was fat and moisture. The sausage is pretty brown now, so now we're gonna cook the vegetables. So I'm gonna push the sausage to the side. And there's a good amount of fat left in there still, so I don't think we have to add any more. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the onions and the celery. And I left the celery fronds in there just cause they have flavor. And then we're gonna add a little bit of salt to this. And a little bit of pepper, black pepper. And now just mix it up. So you want to just cook them until they get soft. They don't need to get much color. They just need to soften. The celery and onions are pretty soft now, so we're ready to add the poultry seasoning, which I almost forgot to mention. And I feel like this is the star of the show. Like this smells like Thanksgiving. And poultry seasoning is just thyme, sage, marjoram, rosemary, black pepper, and nutmeg. And we're gonna add it to the celery and the onions so that it kind of wakes it up. Add that in there. Mix it up, and now we're just ready to mix everything together. It smells so good. I transferred the cornbread to a really big bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and add the sausage mixture. At this point, taste your sausage for salt so that you can adjust the seasoning, because every sausage is gonna have a different amount of salt. So we're gonna add that in there. So we're gonna fold everything together. We want that sausage to cool off a bit before we add the egg. Now this cornbread is sweet, so if you don't like a sweet cornbread, make it from scratch or just try to find a mix that isn't sweet. I love sweet cornbread, it's the only way I like it. So now we're ready for the next step. We're gonna add our egg. This is to bind everything together, and our chicken stock. So the chicken stock ratio is up for debate. Everybody likes their stuffing a little bit more wet and dry. I'm kind of in the middle. I prefer a little bit more dry than wet. So we're gonna see how much it takes, and in my recipe I'll have all the measurements, but feel free to add more or less. This is not gonna mess up the recipe. It's just a matter of preference how much chicken stock you add. So just know that I prefer a little bit more on the drier side. So gonna add the beaten egg, and we're gonna start with about a cup of chicken stock and mix it all together. And you kind of want to fold it, like bring your utensil down and flip it over so that you don't kind of make it mushy. You don't want to break it up too much. Ready to go in the oven now, so I'm gonna pop it in there, and when it's done baking I'll show you what it looks like. Cornbread stuffing is out of the oven and it's beautiful. It smells so good and the texture is nice and crispy on the top, just like I like it. I can't wait to eat. I'm gonna serve myself up some. I have some mashed potatoes cooking behind me because I can't wait to eat. I'm gonna have like a mock Thanksgiving today. Let's try it. And crispy. It's so good. Like the saltiness from the sausage and the sweet cornbread is perfect. Hope you try this recipe. The recipe with the instructions and the measurements will be on my website, eatingitupblog.com, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.